You just have to remember everything.
But how do I remember?
Maybe picture me doing it.
Hello everybody, my name is Ilya.
And my name is Tyler. Together we make up Cooperate, a couple that loves to play board games.
And swim.
Yeah, okay.
Today we're taking a look at Synchronized.
Synchronized! Well, that wasn't very synchronized now, was it?
Not at all. Now this project is on Kickstarter, so we encourage you to check it out below and learn a little bit more about the game. But we're gonna dive right on in and talk about it.
All the swimming puns. So, Synchronized is designed by Anna Maria Jackson Phelps and Amelie Le-Roche. It's a 2 to 8 player game, but can be played with more people if you have more games. Basically, what happens in Synchronized is you're taking the role of 2 different teams. You're competing in a national competition where you'll need to memorize your routine, rehearse the routine, and score the best amount of points possible.
By competing and executing the most perfect routine.
So this game was provided to us by the designer, and we just want to note that it is a prototype copy, and all the things you see here right now might not be the same as when its final production happens. Yeah.
So now let's take a quick look at how to play the game. In this national competition, there's 4 rounds and 4 routines you have to execute. And each of them will be divided into 3 parts. First, you'll rehearse with your team. What that means is the cards will be laid out at the same time for both teams, and you'll begin to memorize them as fast as you possibly can. And as soon as you're ready, you grab the whistle token, and then that is when the rehearsal stage ends. So now you're ready to compete. The routine cards will be placed face down but will remain in the positions they're in, and each team will be dealt a deck of their performance cards, equally to each player. And you have to play from the cards in your hand to see if they match.
And you have to place them face down, and once you place them, they're there for good.
When both teams have finished their routine and laid out their competition cards matched with the rehearsal cards, you're good to move on to the next phase. Performance! So now the team that did not take the whistle will go first and flip their cards one by one to see if they match. Now you'll score 1 point for every matching card and an additional point if your routine is perfect. So for the first round, you can get a maximum of 9 points if everything adds up. Then the second team will go. Now if they execute 50% or more of their cards, they also get an additional 2 points because they were the ones who took the whistle. However, if they don't, the other team automatically gets the 2 points. Now the only other thing to note is in the second performance on, there's challenge cards that can happen, and you'll draw that in the rehearsal phase and execute what they tell you to do.
Don't forget about the water tokens. Every time that you score less points than the other team, you'll be given a water token. If you score 3 points or less, then you'll get 2 water tokens. Now the important thing with water tokens is you can play them during the competition phase. And when you play them, you simply discard them and choose a card in the rehearsal pile and flip it over so that you know what it is.
The other action you can take is you can play 2 competition cards in the same space. So that way, if you're unsure with your teammates or if both of you go for one spot, if one of those is correct, you'll still get that point. Now you'll tally up your points, and at the end of the game, the team with the most points is the national champion in Synchronized. Will it be your team?
Will you dance your way to victory?
So this was an interesting one.
Yes.
I'm not huge on memory games, but I think this one won me over a little bit.
I like memory games, but like my short-term memory is not the greatest, and this really tests it. So I might just play for the fact that it could make my short-term memory better.
Both my long-term and short-term memory are terrible. Tyler can attest to this. So this game is definitely for me to practice that. And it's really nice because it also has a 2 to 3 player mode, which you play cooperatively all together. And I thought we would be champions. And the first time we didn't even make it to like the lowest level of champions.
Yeah, they've got like in the rule book, they've got like
little score.
the scores.
You
and
get a perfect score. We didn't even get like the worst, like the...
Yikes. Yeah.
But it's really fun. I really like... My favorite part about this game is that there's no discussion in that competition phase. So you have your cards and you have to trust your own self to put them where they need to go. And you have to trust your team members too. So there's a lot of trust building in that component, which I really enjoy. Because there have been times where Tyler puts a card down and I'm like, that's my spot where my synchronized swimmer needs to go. But I can't say anything. So I just look at him and I'm like, and he put it down, so it has to stay there.
But I'm usually right.
Not always though. There's been usually his right. Usually I'm the point sinker.
I think the thing in this game though is you really have to be confident in your playing. So if you can memorize it and you're very confident with your short-term memory, just throw those cards out there honestly as fast as you can. If you're unsure about a card, like hold on to it, but don't hold on to it for too long because like Ilya said, if somebody can just like put the card that's supposed or put another card there and you were supposed to have played that, and then you're kind of left in the dust and you lose a point.
It's fun in higher player counts too, because if you have 4 people on your team, for example, you kind of have a standoff in the beginning because you're like, I think this card goes here, but you're not sure. And because the routines get longer and near the end of the game, they're 11 cards long, it's hard to exactly remember the positions.
Yeah, and of course you don't have to play with the challenges, especially right off the bat. Like, I would actually recommend not playing with the challenges because some of them are pretty tough. It's like you have to do orientation correctly as well, but then like all your routine cards are placed like opposite directions. It
messes with your
brain. If you don't have a good memory, I would not recommend this the first time you play it.
It's a game that really shines the more that you play it too, because as you get familiar with the cards, you can remember and add little memory tricks to the cards. Like there's three cards there, like they're ta-das, because the arms always go up and they're out of the water. So I'm like, ta-da here, ta-da here, ta-da here, and I try to remember based on that.
Yeah, and I guess that brings me to my next point. Is it's really funny because when everybody's trying to memorize their cards, you can see them doing like their own little thing. Like I'll sit there and like fidget with my hands, just to like make symbols kind of thing. Ilya will talk out loud, which is now not allowed because it messes with my head and then I forget things. So he has to figure out another way to do that. But it is cool because everybody's different, right? You memorize different ways, you figure out a different way to do it, and I think that's like another thing that builds on this game is just your ability to adapt and try to figure out the best way that you memorize.
It's fun to compete too, because knowing when to go for that whistle, because you can wait as long as you want, and the person who takes the whistle first goes. So like if someone's very confident and they match their team and they're confident, then you can be like, take it and see what happens. And I think that's a really exciting element of the game. In the 2 to 3 player variant, you get 30 seconds solid. So it's if you either got it or you don't. So I really enjoy in the higher player count where you're actually team versus team that there is usually a little bit more time than 30 seconds.
Yeah, for sure. It's a little stressful with the 30 seconds, but I imagine that it's pretty stressful with the players as well. Because the way I think about it is that if you're playing with these cards and everything's in front of you, then like you have to memorize at least 5, or when you take that whistle, or you have to get 5 of them right in the sequence. Or you're going to give 2 points to the other team. So you have to be certain, and I think that's intentional. I think that it's intentional so you don't grab the whistle right away and you can just place down like a couple cards. But yeah, it's stressful because you have to be like, oh hey, I'll remember 4 of these, but then you get your hand and you're like, I don't have any of the 4. Yeah,
I really that's the part that really sticks with me in this game. I think it's so cleverly designed, and hence maybe you should check it out. I also picture us playing this game at the beach for some reason. Like I can see just like being there in the sand and just like getting ready to do our synchronized. Like this is a really fun game that you can really get into thematically too.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to share this game with you.
So check this game out on Kickstarter. It is live right now. You can hit that link below in the description. Show the project some love. We really enjoyed it. And the designers of this game are wonderful humans, so...
Yes, yeah, 100%. Yeah, we're really excited about this game. If memory is your thing, if you want something that's quick, compact.
Or to work on your memory.
Yeah, true.
I'm really excited to play this in like 4 teams. Like that would be intense.
Until then though, we really appreciate you dropping by. If you like what you saw here, give us that thumbs up. Maybe hit that subscribe button or the bell notification to learn and get notified of when we release new videos.
And tell us what you think of Synchronized. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer. And maybe tell us about some of the memory games you enjoy. Because I need to work on my memory.
Yeah.
Did I talk about my memory?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Wow, he forgot that he talked about his memories. Okay, well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!